Well, Caylene, I want to thank you for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
Of course, traveling all the way from LA across the
Yes.
country. How was your
Yes.
flight, your travels? You're with your dad?
I am. It was good. I actually flew starting Tuesday from LA to Vegas. Spent the night at my parents because my parents live in Vegas now. And then had 2 flights yesterday. Flew to Austin and then to Fort Lauderdale. That's where we're staying.
Austin was just a layover, though, right? You weren't there seeing. Okay, so you had the layover, and then you went to Fort Lauderdale.
Well, and we only had like 25 minutes in between. So I'm like, Dad, we need to hustle to our gate.
Let's go, Dad.
You know, like right when we got off.
Yeah.
Well, we're looking for the gate. It's 22C or something. And it was the same plane we just got off of.
Oh, so you unboarded
But
and
they
hopped
had
right back on.
they had everyone get off. They didn't say like continuing on to Fort Lauderdale.
Yeah, they got to clean it. And so that's like,
Yeah.
Yep.
So I'm like, well, we didn't have to walk far.
Yeah.
Here we go.
That's great. You have a good relationship with your father. I could see it.
Great. Yeah.
That
He's
is
one
amazing.
of my best friends. Yeah.
I love that you guys travel together and.
Yeah, big daddy's girl. In fact, he married my husband and I because he had a position in the church to do that.
Wow. What year did you get married?
2010.
2010. That's amazing. Does he like your husband?
Oh gosh, yeah. Yeah. I think sometimes more than me.
That's usually how sometimes it works out.
Yeah.
They love you, but they're
Yeah.
with you so long.
Yeah.
The other spouse.
No,
and they can
I
get
mean,
through to you through your spouse.
Yeah. Yeah. Very true.
That's amazing. So are you originally from LA? Your parents moved to Vegas after spending a lot of, growing you up in your other children or his other children in LA.
Yeah, they just moved about 4 years ago, maybe 5 years now.
Nice.
And but yeah, born and raised in LA.
Did he move because of COVID?
No, actually, it's a crazy story. Their house got broken into. They built like this 10,000 square foot home in this beautiful area on a golf course. And they were kind of thinking where they want to retire. My dad's originally from Utah. My mom's from Arizona. My dad didn't want to go to Arizona. My mom didn't want to go to Utah. So Vegas was kind of like the middle ground.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, their house got broken into while they were home. They had a theater, and they were in the theater, and they're pretty sure it was a Chilean gang, and they were targeting homes in this area, and they stole every single piece of jewelry that my mom owned.
They were in and out.
Oh yeah, with like when we had the investigators over, like 3-4 minutes tops.
Did they say how much in jewelry?
Hundreds of thousands.
I don't know my God.
Well, and you know what's wild is my mom has I think it was like 11 real Michael Kors watches or something, and one of them was fake, and it was left.
The fake one
It
was
was
they
left
knew
on the carpet. They knew it. Yeah, these guys are professional.
Whoa.
So after that had happened, they're kind of like, that was the icing on the cake, and they're just like, they went through my parents, the master bedroom, and after that they couldn't even like sleep in there and to get to the closet where her jewelry was.
It's eerie. I've had my home that I grew up in broken into when I was young, and the guy was leaving as we were pulling up.
Oh, geez.
Yeah, it's crazy. And then I was living in New York City in my apartment. This was 2016. I had someone break in while I was in the apartment. It
Were you
was
sleeping?
No, we came. It was 5:00 on a Tuesday. I'll never forget it. And I was sitting there with headphones in. I was working in advertising sales, so I dealt a lot with like commercial copy from brands and advertisers. And I was watching one, and I had my headphones on. It was 30 seconds, and when the volume was done, I just still had the headphones on, but with no volume. And I heard like scratching. It sounded like a dog at my front door, just scratching.
Gosh.
And then it stopped, and I was like, that was weird.
Yeah.
And I just kept doing what I was doing. Then I heard it again, and it got very aggressive. What had happened was someone was at my door sticking a credit card in the slot. The apartments in Manhattan, a lot of them, you have a bolt, but the bolt was unbolted because I was home.
Mm.
And then they have the hand locks, but I always used to leave it locked. So if the door shuts, it's locked.
Yeah.
And I would always have to bring a key with me. They were just trying to undo the handle portion of the lock to pop it open to come in.
Oh my god.
So what had happened was, so this guy pops it. I start walking down the hall. I had like maybe a 20-foot long hall. And I started walking down the hall and I hear it. And I start to figure out someone's trying to break in.
Yeah.
And this dude walked in. And he had his head down. He opens the door and he looks up and him and I are face to face. But we were further than you and I are right now. We were probably 15 feet from one another. I was like, who are you? And he's like, hey, I'm the Amazon delivery guy. I went to put the package down here and your door was open and it just popped open. I said, so you walk in my apartment? And
Wait, was there a package already there?
There was a package outside my door, but I had the headphones on and I had been listening to other commercials and other, things on my headphones. So I never heard when the guy came and knocked on my door to leave the package. And so it was sitting out front. That guy, long story short, the guy ends up running out of my apartment. I end up chasing after him.
Oh my god.
And I catch him in Central Park.
Oh, wow.
Caught him in Central Park. He gets arrested. Story is, I lived on the 6th floor. On the 7th floor of my apartment building, there was a family who adopted a kid. Now, this family, they were great. They were actually I think the husband was in AA.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he was in sobriety and he had a long time sober. So him and I really connected. And they adopted a kid, but they adopted this kid at 11 years old from Russia.
Oh, wow.
And the kid was
at 11?
At 11. And he was so resentful. He was probably 18 at this point, 19. He was so resentful towards his parents. Like cops were there all the time because he was fighting with his parents. Like he was like fist fighting.
Wow.
And we lived on East 81st Street in Manhattan.
Okay.
He used to go up to Harlem. 30, 40 blocks up into Harlem, hang out with these shiesty individuals. He would tell them when his parents weren't home and were at work, come by, we'll smoke a blunt and chill at my parents' house.
Yeah.
One of those guys was one of those guys from Harlem. And
oh my god.
when you go down, you could take the elevator down, or if you take the stairs, you go around onto each floor. So he probably came down, it was just breezing by 6, going down the stairs, saw the package. It was like, no one's home there. And he tried to get in. So he was a friend of the adopted kid from upstairs.
Oh, jeez.
And
so he kind of knew the building. And
yeah, he didn't steal anything.
Okay.
He didn't, obviously.
Well, good. Yeah.
But,
well, good you came home when you did.
Yeah, there were no charges pressed or anything. But I just said to the cop, I said, can you do me a favor? Like, lay it down on this kid. Like, tell him, they could have make some shit up. Like, they could have pressed charges if they wanted to, and you could have went to jail or something. Just so he never comes around here again.
Right.
And I never saw the guy again. So, but it's crazy.
Yeah,
anyways,
they never caught that
the Chilean gang ring.
I mean, these guys
burglars.
Are professional.
So you grew up in LA. How many siblings did you have?
I'm the youngest. I have an older brother and an older sister. And my sister lives in Utah. My brother lives like 5 minutes from me.
Nice.
Yeah.
And what kind of kids were you guys? Did you play sports? Were you guys all close?
Yeah. I had a great childhood. My sister played basketball, and then a little bit after high school, she got into some modeling. And then my brother was like the star of the football team, and I was a cheerleader.
Oh, very cool. So you guys were always active. Okay. And you just celebrated in August 2 years sober.
I did.
Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you. My tattoo right here, August 24th, 2023.
That's amazing. Congratulations.
Thank you.
At what age did you take your first drink?
What is like 8th grade?
8th grade is probably 13,
like 13?
14-ish.
Yeah, like probably 13.
Yeah.
And it was at a friend's house who I don't even remember it. Maybe it was a sister that got it. Gosh, it was so long ago.
Mhm.
But I do remember it was Aftershock. Do you know what
Yeah,
that is?
I
It has
do.
like the rock candy.
Yeah, I do
Oh, I
remember
can't
it.
do cinnamon. It was cinnamon. I threw up everywhere. It was awful. I was like, I'm never
Yeah.
touching this shit again.
I actually didn't know that they had any other flavors than cinnamon. I thought cinnamon was the only flavor.
Um,
Well, whatever.
I don't know.
Regardless,
Maybe,
that's
but that's
insane.
what I had.
Yes. So you got,
Yeah.
I'm assuming you got like deathly ill.
Yeah. It was
Okay.
disgusting. We went over to my friends, spent the night, and the next morning, even to like, I remember my mom picked me up and she's like, "Are you okay?" And I was like, "I don't know, just like a stomach
Hmm.
bug or something, you
Yeah.
know." Oh my gosh, it was awful.
Yeah.
And I was like, "Okay, that was fun,"
Okay.
you know.
What were the feelings like? Was it just, this is
Um,
amazing? You got sick. Did you go back to it
yeah,
again right after it, or did you take
no,
time off
no. Like, I didn't drink all through high school.
because of that experience?
No, just because, I mean, I grew up Mormon.
Oh,
So I was always taught, no, it, it's not, in the religion, it's called the word of wisdom, and you're not supposed to, drink or do drugs or anything like that. So it was always a no for me, but I don't know. I mean, just in high school, I just I would go to parties and they were fun, but I never really got it. In fact, when I picked up my next drink, I was 19.
okay. So
So I was out
13
of
to
high school.
19,
Mhm.
6 years later.
Mhm.
Wow. What was it
Yeah.
like? So you mentioned you grew up Mormon, you were raised Mormon.
Right.
What was it? Was it really now you're sneaking it at 13 because you're not
Oh,
supposed to be
yeah.
drinking? And what did you feel guilty after it?
Totally.
Yeah.
But because it was always just like a no, and I'm like, well, why? The excitement and the curiosity and everything just, it's
Mm,
like when someone tells you no, it's like, okay, well, I want to try that.
yeah.
And I am stubborn as hell, and you'll tell how it has got me through my addiction. But like, yeah, so I'm like, don't tell me no, because that makes me want to do it that much more.
Yeah.
My husband has heard that or learned that the hard way
Yeah, I'm sure
many
he's learned
times.
it many times over and over
Yes,
again.
yes. I'm a
Uh,
Leo, so I'm pretty strong-willed.
okay, so you are now, were you in school, in middle school and high school with other Mormons, or
Yes.
was it only Mormon?
No, I had a good mix.
Okay.
And then in high school, majority was Mormon, and then, like, I had a Mormon boyfriend, and then, my second one wasn't, but that was more towards, like, the end of high school, and I was about to graduate. So
Rebelling.
yeah. So after high school, my parents always wanted me to go to Utah, not to BYU, and I don't nearly have the grades
Hmm.
or had the grades for that, but I went to Utah Valley State. So I
Hmm.
moved to Utah on and off in the midst of like 2 years.
Yeah. Okay.
So and was trying to give the Mormon thing a try,
Okay.
you know. And I still don't practice today, but I have so much respect for it. I
Hmm.
think there's so much that comes out of it, and I've never like wavered in my faith.
Hmm.
I still pray, I really know I'm here for a reason, and I know that that's God,
Yeah.
and I couldn't have got through the past 2 years without that for
Yeah.
sure.
See, and just to clarify for the audience, there is nothing against Mormons that I have.
Mhm.
For me, it's such a fascinating religion.
Yeah.
And I mean, now I'm sober, I don't drink, but there are other things that come along with it. It's not just drinking and doing
Oh,
drugs.
no, it's a lifestyle.
Yeah.
I mean, it's religion, but it's a lifestyle.
Disciplined
Yeah,
lifestyle.
disciplined, and in fact, I can remember at the age of maybe 9 or 10, and I was stomping up the stairs and saying, "I hate being a Mormon," and it was a Sunday because on Sunday, you keep it holy,
Hmm.
and you go to church, and you don't do any other activities. Well, my friends were going swimming or going to the movies or going to the mall,
Mm.
and I couldn't do that on Sunday, so that little thing is just like I mean, I didn't know enough to say I hate that. You know what I mean? It was
Yeah.
just in that moment, I was like, well, I can't do that.
That was actually going to be my next question. You went to high school with other people who were outside of the Mormon religion, and you said it was pretty evenly split in middle school. So,
Yes.
So what I was going to say was the drinking, potentially drugs. Did you feel like you were missing out? But you were also with other Mormons too. So it's like you had a crowd.
And you know what? We would kind of get a little tease. Like, I mean, I was a popular girl, and
Of course you were.
But I was friendly and friends with everyone. I don't like that
Yeah.
stigma that maybe comes with that. You know what I
of
mean? I'm not
course.
trying to be, but we would get like a little bit teased, me and the other friends that I had that were Mormon, because of that. Like, oh, why don't you guys do this? And why don't you, But I really think they had a lot of respect.
Yeah.
And I think they respected it. They just didn't understand it.
Yeah.
You know?
Okay. So you go to Utah, you're in college, you're 19 years old. What was your second drinking experience like?
Oh gosh, it's like so hard to remember.
I mean, you're 28. It wasn't that long ago. So
No,
it's like,
yeah. I'm like, wait, you're being so nice.
well,
It was just fun, and the boyfriend I had at the time was drinking, and I remember I got sick a lot. I would always overdo it. Always. And another thing I think about me that stopped in between that period of time when I first had the taste of alcohol was I have an addictive personality, and I have addiction in my family. I mean, my uncle, my mom's brother, died at the age of 34 from a drug overdose.
Wow.
So I have that, and I've had other family members that have struggled too, but so that was kind of, but I never really thought this would take me, I'm like, oh no, I'm stronger than that.
Yeah.
I'm basically indestructible.
Yeah. So it's interesting that you say that, because I had the same feelings. I had the feelings of I was a painkiller guy. I was doing Oxycontins. And even with Oxycontins, I was like, I'm going to take this as far as I can until I need to stop, and I won't have a problem with it. I won't get addicted to this.
Right.
I'll be able to pull it back right when it matters.
100%.
And then I was like, oh, when I graduate, I'm in college. I'm allowed to have fun.
Yeah.
When I graduate college and get that job in New York City, then I'll pull back and I'll stop.
Yeah.
And I'll get clean. I'll still drink, but like I'll stop doing drugs. And then I got the job, and then I'm still doing it. Now I'm doctor shopping with healthcare that my job is providing me. And it just kept going on and on. And I'll stop. And then when I get married, I'll stop. And then when I have a child, I'll stop.
Yeah.
And that day never comes. So, okay. So you go through college. What do you do after college?
So I was only up there for 2 years.
Okay.
And then I moved to New York for a summer to be a nanny. My roommate and a good friend of mine at the time was moving to New York for that summer for an internship. And she's like, you should come with. And I'm like, I love the city. I've only been there once before I moved there. I mean, it was only 3.5, 4 months. And then once I came, so that was in 2008, the summer of 2008. And then I moved back home. Obviously my parents are still in California. I moved back home. And then I met my husband at the end of 2008. But we went to high school together, actually. And he's just a year older than I am. We knew each other in high school, like of each other.
Yeah.
But he graduated in 2003 and I graduated in 2004. And we didn't get together meet again. It was through mutual friends at the end of 2008.
After college. Okay. So then wait, you said after New York, then you moved back to LA. And then what did you do there professionally?
Went to hair school.
Oh, nice.
That I did nothing with.
Okay, so you went to hair school, and then what happened? You just, after hair school, you were just like, nah.
Yeah, and then I worked for my dad for like 16 years, I think. I
Okay.
was a legal, he's a personal injury attorney, and my brother is also at the firm,
Okay.
and I was a legal assistant.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
And you did that for 16 years.
Yes. Maybe a little longer.
When does your drinking start to ramp up?
Oh man. So my husband and I, so when we were dating, when I moved back home, I was just like, all right, I'm party mode, right? And and he liked to party, but he had an off switch. I didn't.
Mm-hmm.
And we only dated 10 no, 9 months, got engaged, got married 10 months later. It was like pretty fast. And I was like partying, but nothing like crazy, like right after we got married. But here's the thing. Since I moved back home and being respectful, living under my parents' roof, I couldn't live with my husband until I was married.
Okay.
So that was their rule, and I'm living there, you know?
Okay, so you guys move in together for the first time when you get married in 2010.
Mm-hmm.
What was that like? Because I've had the experience where I've lived with someone and we've just been boyfriend and girlfriend, and I was in love with them, and then after 6 months, I'm like, no, I'm not doing this.
Yeah.
And then I met my ex-wife who moved from Finland right in with me.
Oh, wow.
Yep.
Oh, my goodness.
And that, I mean, yeah, we got divorced, but we were together for 7-8 years. Like it was a great relationship.
Yeah.
You know, so I would say that's a success. But
yeah, totally.
what was that like for you?
So, I mean, we would have like our sleepovers and like do our little not vacations, but like little trips on the weekends. So like we kind of knew, you know, but it's just everything was just like really, really fast. But it was great because I can't have alcohol at my house. So I'm like, and wine was my poison.
Mm-hmm.
And so I could have it every single day. I didn't have to hide it. I didn't have to, you know. So it didn't start super crazy though. Like right after I got married, I'm just like, you know, balls to the wall.
Floodgates open.
Yeah. But it would progressively over the years get a little bit more. And then to the point where I started drinking at lunch, and I work for my dad, but I would start drinking at lunch with other colleagues.
Okay.
And then I was like, you know, okay, whatever, that's fine. And then it would be happy hour right after I get off work. We're at happy hour. Then I would go home and I would act like I didn't have any for the whole day. And I'm only having 2 glasses of wine or maybe 3 at dinner. So this became every single day until I started like before lunchtime. I would start, I mean, my body was getting so used to this, I would start to shake. So I would start right in the morning.
So would you bring like a flask or something into work or?
No, I'd just have it when I got ready to get me through a couple hours till I made it to lunch.
Was your husband saying anything while you were drinking, getting ready, or was he already at work?
No, he was already at work. I would hide all this.
You were hiding it from everyone.
But there was one time I was at a restaurant and I hadn't had anything. And before the waitress could even take our order, I started to feel anxiety, you know? And I was like, do I have anxiety now? Like, no, it was obviously the alcohol and I was needing it.
Yep.
And I started to shake and I'm like, I'm not going to be able to pick up my glass of wine without shaking. So I put a straw in it and said, it's easier to drink from a straw. And then that became my new thing.
Wow.
I would just drink wine from a straw.
That's crazy. The shakes
because I wouldn't even pick it up. I would just put it near my mouth and drink it and suck it down. Once I sucked down my first drink, the
shakes would stop.
Yeah.
Oh my God. You couldn't even drink your drink because the shakes were so bad.
Yeah.
Okay. So when you were going out on lunch too and drinking and coming back into the office, was your father picking anything up or?
I mean, I would try to avoid him
when
I came back, but sure.
Yeah. Okay.
He wasn't an idiot to it, you know?
Yeah, of course. Now you're drinking at night with your husband. He's drinking probably more than your average, but not problematic.
No, I mean, and sometimes he wouldn't have any.
Wow.
And it was just me.
Would that blow
And
your
then
mind?
and it made me mad. Come on. Like, we're having dinner. Or I would like specifically make Italian more often during the week because he always liked red wine with Italian. So I'm like, perfect. Let's make Italian. So now I'll have one because that just takes anything off of me. It takes the grief or the shame or anything off of me, you know? But yeah, and then it just got to the point where I would just hide it more and more and more. And then, of course, COVID.
Yeah.
That didn't help anything.
Yeah. So, all right. So this was going on through the 2010s, the drinking in the morning before getting ready for work. And
I mean, that was a little bit later, yeah, a couple years after we got married.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And then you go now into COVID. You're drinking pretty much around the clock.
Oh, yeah.
But now are you working from home or were you
Yes.
guys going into the office?
Yes, working from home.
Okay. What was that like?
Perfect. Because I could drink all day.
Oh my God.
I mean, it was like,
If I was using during COVID, I wouldn't be here right now.
yeah. Yeah. I'm some days I'm surprised.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I was just game on, you know?
But your husband now is home too.
No, he works for the city, so he was still going in.
Wow.
They could still go in. Yeah, he's an administrator for the city that we live in.
Okay.
And
so this is perfect.
And
for you.
he's, you know, he's very professional and he can't do the lifestyle I was doing.
Yeah. So this is perfect for you. This is perfect for an alcoholic.
Totally.
And do you think at this point, you know, COVID hits, are you saying to yourself at all, I may have a problem, or are you just kind of going with it?
In the beginning, just going with it. I'm like, I'm fine, you know, because my husband would say, you know, why don't you turn off for a couple days? I'm like, okay. Can I do that? And I'm like, I'm sure I can, you know? And then I would make it like one day. I was like, see, done. Okay. You know, drink. And, but it wasn't until like when I was hiding it and the main place I hide, well, there's two. One was in a cabinet in my kitchen and the other one was in my closet. And we have a mirror that closes, you know, sliding mirror. So anytime I would have my couple sips and put it back, you know, I would see my reflection staring back at me and I'm just like, what the hell are you doing? What are you doing?
Yeah.
But ask me if I cared. No.
Yeah.
Alcohol had me at this point. I mean, it consumed my every thought. It consumed my whole life. I would plan everything around drinking, everything. And then like trips, I would plan trips more and more. And that was frustrating because that gets expensive. But trips, you can drink all the time and you're on vacation. Right?
Yeah.
So that's what I would do. I would constantly, you know, it was just, and it drove him crazy.
Yeah. You talked about how your husband would challenge you and be like, can you stop for a few days? And then you said you would stop for, let's say, one day and be like, see, that one day that you would quit, what was your thinking like? Was
awful?
Yeah. How did you feel?
I'm an overthinker, so I used alcohol as an escape.
Yeah.
Totally. A full escape. Just get me out of the insanity in my mind.
Yeah.
You know? And so I would just, I was just like, basically, I mean, kind of counting down the hours one, you know, and he's a mountain bike rider. So some days after work, he's like, all right, I'm going to go for a little ride. I'm like,
see ya.
Yeah. Okay, perfect.
It's wild because a lot of people think drinking and drugging is about the alcohol and the drugs, or gambling is about the bet. Now, it is. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But those are symptoms of the disease.
Yeah.
And the disease really lies within self, right? There's some, you know, kind of trauma, unhealed trauma, insecurities, fear, resentment, whatever that is.
Right.
But I ask that because there were times where I stopped for one day or 2 days during active addiction, and I would be able to, but I mean, the circumstances would have to be dire for me to do that.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
when I would do it, the insanity that would go on in my head, it was crazy. I'm like,
Right?
oh my God, 47 hours until I can take an oxy.
Yeah.
It just the chaos and
Yes.
anxiety, and
The
it would
anxiety is
consume.
another level.
I would be there, but I'm not present. I'm sitting there every second through my
Same.
brain. When can I get it next? When can I get it next? And like it's like living in prison. It's hell.
It seriously
You're
is.
a prisoner in your own body.
100%. And going off what you just said, when I would order my drink, like say at a restaurant or whatever, I would still have a little bit, but I'm just like, constantly looking, where's the waitress? Because I need my next one.
Yep.
You're
already planning the next one before that one's done.
Plus, not to mention, I probably had 3 while I was getting ready to go to dinner.
Yeah.
And I would do that, like, to go out, like, whether we were going to some get-togethers or whatever, just so when I'm out with other people, they don't see. They're like, oh, she only had, like, 2 or 3. Yeah, she's good. No, really, I've had, like, 6, 8, 10.
We're in early 2020s, 2020, 2021, 22. You could just drop it.
Okay.
Perfect.
Okay. We can.
No.
Okay.
Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah.
We're in the early 2020s. COVID hits. And up to this point, has it your drinking impacted any area of your life? Like, was your work sloppy?
No, I was a functioning alcoholic.
What about socially? Your girlfriends, were they saying anything to you?
Yeah. So I've had people, when it started to get bad, I had friends say some stuff. More so to my husband than me. I had my sister say some stuff to me. We did a girls trip at my mom's, and she's like, your eyes are looking more yellow, which is obviously jaundice.
Yeah.
And I'm like, no, I think it's the lighting. So you know what I did? I went on to Amazon and got Lumify white drops to make my eyes appear whiter. I was like that desperate. I was like, no, I'm okay.
Shit.
Yeah.
That's wild.
I was so desperate.
That's like real. That's
like
like
anything to protect alcohol. Anything. Like I would literally, no, I'm fine, And traveling, I couldn't travel anywhere, especially with my family, without packing it because they don't drink.
Mm-hmm.
And I had to be, seem normal. And not to say that I'm packing it to get drunk because, my tolerance is way high at this point. So it'll take a lot. I was just drinking to be normal.
Yeah.
To feel normal.
Can you take us through the last few months, what it was like for you before you got sober?
Yeah, it was, I was looking pretty frail. And I did start noticing my eyes. And then the biggest thing that started happening was my tummy started to fill up. Ascites. And I was like, what is going on?
It looks like a baby bump, right?
Oh, I looked more than that. I looked, if you could, 10, 11 months pregnant, if that was possible, for 14 months. Yeah. So the ascites, basically, little things were starting to become visible, right? In my appearance. And I knew, I'm like, I know I don't like look good right now. I didn't give a shit. I didn't care. I'll have another drink. It'll make me seem like I look better, But, and I had thought that I got the feeling that my husband was going to plan an intervention with my family. And sure enough, he was. I just felt it. And so this is in 2023. And in September of 2023, we were going to South Africa.
You're 1 month sober at this point.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And we were going to South Africa. But before this, and when I kind of felt that my husband was going to do this intervention, I threatened him. I said, don't you dare get my family involved. Don't you dare tell him how bad my drinking is, because I isolated myself a lot from them just so they wouldn't see like how bad it was.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, or you won't go to South Africa with us. Don't you dare.
Oh,
And he didn't care at that point. He was
Good.
He was done. And
Good.
I don't blame him.
So, okay. So before we go to, he doesn't listen to you.
Mm-hmm.
He rallies the troops.
Mm-hmm.
What was that like? You got intervention.
So I'm at happy hour after work, and I come home, and he has literally every single person in my family on my on the phone. My sister, her husband, my brother, his wife, my parents. So it was a really hard pill to swallow. I mean, literally, I walked in the door, and it was a Tuesday, I remember. And he sat me down, and I just listened. And my dad's like, when was the last time like you've even had a physical? I'm like, it's been years. And he's like, I want you to go get your blood taken. Like, you need a full blood panel. And we have a good family friend, and he was able to get me in the very next day. So I went, and so I don't know, 20, 30 minutes, maybe longer. I mean, I was in just like a daze just listening to this, because I'm just like, oh my gosh, you get that like, that pit in your stomach, and
Did you
my
go into
heart started
denial?
racing. Oh yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
And I was just like, I appreciate your concern. Thanks.
Everything's fine.
Mm-hmm. Let me deal with it my own way.
Yeah.
I mean, it was hard. It was hard.
Yeah.
I think I tried to sugarcoat it,
Mm-hmm.
but so I said, okay, fine, and my husband's like, I know you'll listen to your dad. And he's like, you're going to go see our doctor friend.
So you get your blood work done the very next day.
No. So I walk in there, and he literally does not have to take my blood. He still does take my blood, but didn't wait for the lab results, looked at my husband and said, get her to the hospital now. That's all he needed, was one look at me.
So you go to the hospital. What do they say?
So we go to our local hospital, and my husband's not an emotional person, but once we got in the car, he was choking up. And I remember I was such a bitch. Because I was like, what's wrong with you? I'm fine. We're just going to go get checked out. I'm fine. I'm fine. I'm fine. Nothing's going to happen to me.
He's so
My stomach might be getting bigger. I don't know, but nothing's going to happen to me.
Fucking sensitive guy over here.
Yeah, I know. And I'm like, stop, and seriously.
He loves you.
Yes. And I'm just like, it breaks my heart, because I was just like, stop,
Mm-hmm.
just denial.
Yeah.
So we go to the hospital. We have a lot of doctor friends. We had another doctor friend who got me in pretty quickly, ran several tests. We were there for a good, 8 hours, probably longer, and came back and told me that I have cirrhosis of the liver. And my husband's face just fell into his hands, and he just started sobbing.
Oh.
So, kind of a twist to this, I never met my father-in-law. I met my husband in 2008. My father-in-law died the year before, in 2007, from cirrhosis of the liver, but he had a fatty liver. He was a heavier set man.
Yeah.
Not because of alcohol.
Yeah.
But it's, yeah.
So it's
he's
really
just thinking the worst, like, this is going to take my life, you know?
It's hitting home for your husband big time. Not only is it his wife, but he lost his father to the same thing.
Correct.
Under a different condition.
Mm-hmm.
So, okay, now correct me if I'm wrong, at this point, you need a liver transplant.
I didn't know yet.
Okay.
I didn't know yet. So running tests, and they're like, we want to keep you overnight. I'm like, to hell, you're not. Get me out of here. I'm not
Still in
staying
denial?
here. Yeah. I was just like, you ran the test. Cool. Get me out of here. You know, I'm like, am I going to be against, AMA, against medical attention if I leave? They're like, well, technically not. I said, good, let's go. But before this, my brother came over, and Jess had called him. My husband had called him and said, can you come over here? So he said that he needed to leave and go feed our dogs, which he did, but he was gone an hour. And I'm like, it doesn't, and we're close to our local hospital there. Doesn't take an hour. He was going through the whole house and clearing it all of alcohol, and called one of his buddies over to come pick it all up.
Mm.
And he's like texting my brother. He's like, I found another one. I found another hiding spot. I found,
Mm.
and in the closet I had like cans of Trulies and just like,
Yeah.
he's like, yeah, it's going to take me a minute.
Yeah.
So he just was going through, and I kind of put it together. I'm like, what is he doing? Oh. I was kind of piecing it together, and my brother was trying to keep me occupied, and, so I leave, but, and the hospital that is near us, it's okay. What I needed to do and recommended to do was to go down to UCLA to a liver specialist. And UCLA has been great. They saved my life.
Mm.
So I go down there the next day. No, sorry, about 3 days later. But in this, I am like in a twilight zone. Like, what is going on? I start to withdraw.
What can you take us through what the withdrawal was like from alcohol?
So thankfully, I didn't have to be hospitalized, which I know many people do.
Yeah. It is actually recommended because you could die.
Sure.
Yep.
So crazy enough, I mean, my withdrawals were bad to me, but not bad enough. Again, I think my prayers were just answered, but basically I was hot, I was cold, I was shaking. I kind of hallucinated for a little bit, but then I would just what I wanted to do is just crawl under the covers and never come out, So I literally put myself to bed for about 16 hours the first time I felt this all coming on.
Mm.
That really helped.
Yeah.
It was wild.
Did you take anything to go to bed?
Mm-mm.
Wow. Your body was just that exhausted.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So,
I mean, I wasn't sleeping that whole time, but I just couldn't get out of bed.
yeah. Bedridden for 16 hours.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So you go through the withdrawals, and now was there drinking after this diagnosis in the hospital?
Nope. The very last day I had my last sip of alcohol was that morning, or
The happy hour.
was that, no, because I went to the doctor the next day, but I drank, I think 2 Trulies that morning just to get my levels normal. And before I went down to the doctor, because that's a terrific idea.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So, all right.
So that morning, and that was it.
UCLA saved your life. Shout out UCLA.
Yes.
Liver specialists.
Yeah, my doctor is amazing.
How did you? So you did not end up getting a liver transplant.
No.
Can you walk us through what had happened there?
Yes. So I go down to UCLA because my stomach at this point, 3 days later, is starting to get a lot bigger. And I need what's called a paracentesis, which is a procedure that they take a needle about that big, and either in your right or left side, it's guided by ultrasound, and they find pockets, because what ascites is fluid buildup, because ultimately your liver is like a sponge, right? So everything that it can soak up like a sponge does, and then it can't soak up anymore, where does it go? It just, so huge. I was just, and
Really?
I don't have any children, so this is like such a new, thing to me. It's like, it was wild. And I was in so much pain. Like, back pain, and I was just it's a lot of weight. At one point, I was holding 48 extra pounds of fluid. It would swell my ankles. Yeah. So that was the whole thing. But anyway, so I get down there and they can't perform this paracentesis
They can't
yet.
put the needle in?
Not yet, because my levels, I need to be hooked up to monitors. They need to do my heart. My levels were way off. So I think it was like the next day. So I ended up spending the first time I actually went down to UCLA, I spent 2 nights there. And then finally I got one.
Okay, so they end up doing the procedure. What was that like?
It's scary. It was really scary, and it was painful. But that's nothing, because so it takes all that fluid. It drains into these like glass liter bottles. And at one point I got 7 liters of fluid drained out of me.
Now,
And you have to be hospitalized for that because you got to be monitored.
Yeah, when they're done with it, how long did the procedure take?
It takes about 30 to 40 minutes.
When they're done draining your stomach, does your stomach just deflate?
Yeah, it's like a balloon.
Oh my God.
It just goes down, and it's just like the relief is almost instant.
Really?
Yeah. So but then not even like a day, 2 days later, fell back up. So I was getting paracentesis once a week, and I didn't have to go to the hospital every time, because sometimes I would only get 3-4 liters taken out. And I could go to, we have a UCLA where I live, like a facility there. But if it was bad enough where I'm taking a lot out, they have to monitor me because of my levels. And then I would have to get albumin, which I call like liquid gold, because it strips you of those proteins and all that. So you would have to get IVs of that put back in. I mean, the whole journey of that is just wild. So I was going once a week. Then it became twice a week, and I was dealing with this. I looked pregnant for 14 months. I would get asked all the time when I was in public. I would try to cover it up I was wearing extra large shirts, just trying to cover it up, because, and then when I would get asked, I would go along with it. Oh my gosh, when do you do? A couple weeks.
You didn't even bother.
Yeah. And then I had one lady, though, come up to me, and she's like, "That's going to be a big baby."
Yep. It's going to be a boy.
Yeah.
We're naming him Chester.
Yes, exactly. I'm like you perfect stranger just comes up to me and says that. And then I would get just awkward stares, and I'm like, have you never seen, like, first of all, I look the age that I could be pregnant.
Yeah, for sure.
But they would just like.
Now, what was happening with your liver, right? Because it's like a sponge, right? But then it just, once you get cirrhosis, it releases all the fluids out of the liver, and it goes throughout your body, your stomach specifically, and builds up those pockets. Now, once you're going through those procedures, you have to go through a lot of them. You're relieving that a lot more and more. Then did your liver just start to work again?
Yeah, it improved. So I was told, so the very first time I was told I need to get a paracentesis, I was explained like what everything was going on, and then said that you're going to need a liver transplant, because my MELD score, that's how they, track your liver numbers, I believe was 26, and 40 is dire. So it was up there. And I mean, that's another thing. I was just within like these few days, less than a week, I was fed all this information. It was very overwhelming.
And you're not even drinking, and you're going through a detox, and you're going I couldn't imagine.
Yes.
Did you feel any guilt over that? Like, I'm sorry, not guilt, shame. Were you shaming yourself? Like, fuck, like it got this far, and everything's hitting me all at once, and
yes.
I'm assuming it was very overwhelming.
It was very overwhelming. it was embarrassing. I'm like, what do I tell people now? I need a liver transplant. I have cirrhosis, you know? I mean, I've I've heard of, all these terms, obviously,
Mm.
but again, how is this happening to me? So I'm like, how am I going to explain this? Yeah, I was embarrassed, but I'm actually sharing my journey on a YouTube channel that I started.
That's amazing. What is the
So,
YouTube channel called?
Simply Addicted channel.
It's called Simply
Simply.
Addicted Channel.
Well, my email, just Simply Addicted.
Okay.
I haven't even looked up my own thing, but
It's okay.
simply.addicted.channel@gmail.com is my email. And then, it's just, Simply Addicted. And I go through the steps and all my medical
Wow.
and because now I'm not embarrassed anymore. I'm not ashamed. It's just, it's who I am.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you're sharing your experience on here because there's probably someone listening who is in the thick of it right now, doesn't think that they can make it through.
Yeah.
You're giving them hope.
Well, I hope so. Because there were so many times I did not see the light at the end of the tunnel. So I'm just going, getting all this information, and then I'm like, okay, well, what about the transplant? Like, when does that happen? Well, I have to go through a 6-month process to test literally every organ in me,
Mm.
just to make sure that my heart and everything is capable of going, into surgery and all that.
Yeah.
So I had to go through that. But once I finished the 6 months, I was eligible for what's called the TIPS procedure, and which I got done. I had it done 3 separate times for it to work.
What is that?
So it's a shunt that reroutes the blood flow and bypasses your liver and goes straight to your heart. So it like filters all your organs, but bypasses the liver. And so that's why I don't have no more paracentesis, no more fluid buildup. And so I finally got that. I had 3 different surgeries. They go down your neck. It's pretty in and out. You just have to stay one night in the hospital.
Mhm.
And my doctor, this was a separate doctor. He was great, but it didn't work the first time. And nothing on his part. It's just about finding that sweet spot.
Mhm.
And then it didn't work the second time. I would just fill back up. And then finally, I will never forget the date. It was September 11th of last year, 2024. And that was my 3rd TIPS procedure, and it worked. And it was game changer.
Wow.
Changed my life.
And then because it was a success, then you did not need a liver transplant.
Well, I'm still listed.
Okay.
So my numbers are doing way better. My MELD score is at a 11
Okay.
now.
From a 26.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And that's just, the scarring will be there. There's no like reversal in that.
Mm-hmm.
But it was just, I think I got it in enough time, obviously, thankfully, because, my doctor did basically say, you continue down this path for 6 months, you will die. This will kill you. And so I'm still listed, but I'm very, very low on the list because it took me so long to get listed. I had to go through this whole process. So there's no no harm in keeping me on there.
Right.
But my doctor wants me to keep my own parts.
Yeah, of course.
As long as you possibly can. You got to be on medications for all that. But another thing that came with this fluid buildup is it's called encephalopathy, and it's severe confusion and disorientation because of high ammonia levels in the brain, or in the brain. So I would go through these episodes, I would call them. Now I'm on a pill. It's called rifaximin. I take it twice a day, and we never want to run out of that.
You don't seem confused.
No, I'm good now. In fact, I see my liver doctor. Now I'm up to every 4 months. I see her in a couple of weeks, and I think I'll go down to 1 pill a day.
Wow.
But yeah, these episodes, one of the worst ones, I went blind. I can't even see my own hand in front of my face. I can't feed myself. The fork, I was telling my husband I was going to the bathroom and I was standing in the middle of the kitchen. I mean, it was gnarly. And then I would get combative and I have no recollection. It's almost like being drunk and you're blacked out.
Yeah.
The next thing I remember is waking up in the hospital because I had to be hospitalized for these episodes. It was wild.
Well, it sounds like a very long road, and it's been a windy road as well.
Yes. And then
Oh, yeah, go ahead.
So because my stomach was out and in for that amount of time.
Stretches.
Yeah, like well, it wasn't too bad of what it would be like pregnant maybe the whole time because you're like, but a hernia had formed on my belly button. And I kid you not, it was bigger than the size of a golf ball, just right there. And I noticed, so they said just keep a bandage on it and hopefully it'll go back in. Like it'll heal itself, basically. Then I would have to wear a pregnancy. I would put a bandage, then I'd have to wear a pregnancy belt just to keep it back in. Well, after I got the tips in September of last year, I thought I was in the clear, and then 3 weeks later, I wake up vomiting, excruciating stomach pain, so bad. And I told my husband, I said, something's wrong, I'm throwing up and I've never felt this pain before. He's like, well, let's just go to the UCLA here and get your blood checked. I was like, I don't have time to wait for that. I said, we need to go to the hospital now. Make sure you listen to your body because thank goodness I did. So we go down to the hospital. It's one of those crazy ER days, so it's packed. They did run tests fairly quickly, though, and got me back to a CT scan. And at this point, like my hernia was turning like a different shade of white, but then there was like some purple in there. And I was like, and I kept asking my doctors, is it, they're like, no, it's not life-threatening. It's fine. Because it looked fine. And they were just hoping that it would go back inside. Because I was like, do I need surgery? Well, the risk of surgery with me is quite high.
Yeah.
Because my platelets are low. I've had several blood transfusions just because my blood levels have been everywhere. I've probably had at least 5 or 6 transfusions. And they're like, no, we don't want to risk opening you up. So I'm basically back in this tented area in the ER. And they're like, worst case scenario, we will have to operate on you. And we're going to find something that we don't want to find. So I'm like, okay, that doesn't sound good, So I said, okay, in the meantime, can I have some pain meds? And they're like, no, because you might have to go into surgery. And I'm like, I'm not going to have to go into surgery. That was like the last thing I was thinking.
Yeah.
So next thing I know, I have 2 doctors come in and by hand, they're pushing on my hernia to make it like go back inside. I've never felt pain like that before. Mind you, on my birthday party, I got kidney stones a month before. Oh. And that's painful.
It was more painful than the kidney stones.
It was more painful than that. But yeah, that was just another little like floppy thing because apparently you can get kidney stones having to do with all the, it can coincide with liver problems. So that was fun. I literally left my own birthday party.
Holy shit. So, wait. So the hernia, so they push it back in?
Yes. So they push it back in. I'm screaming.
No pain meds, nothing.
No, I'm feeling everything. Everything. It was I can't even describe it. It was so painful.
Yeah.
Then they would give me ice. I'm like, well, I'm not going to do anything, to ice like my belly button or where it was. And then they're like, I'm sorry, we're going to have to do it again. They did that 3 times. I said,
Oh,
look, this is not working. What is going on? Like, I felt like they weren't telling me something.
yeah.
And they said, we'll be back shortly. So a few minutes later, they're like, we need to go, and we need to go now to the operating room. I was like, okay, like nervous. And, and I wasn't even in a gown yet because they didn't have any beds. So I'm in this tented area, still in my own clothes. They're like, we need a gown now. Let's go. They put me in a room for the short time, 5 minutes, which was kind of good because I overthink. So I didn't have enough time to
Overthink.
and to process what was going on. Next thing I know, they're like, okay, this is going to hurt. And I'm like, well, what now? They shoved a tube up my nose, gave me water to make it go down my throat into my stomach. And usually they do that after, like when you're asleep, after you're under. They didn't have time. They needed to do it now. So I'm like sticking this so up my nose. I'm start profusely bleeding out of my nose because it's sticking so far up. That was another like side of pain. And it was just awful. And then before I knew it, we were
In surgery.
Rolling
Do
back.
they eventually knock you out and give you like some kind of pain meds?
Oh yeah. I remember going in and gosh, it seemed crowded in there. I think there was it seemed like 5-6 doctors.
Yeah.
And I'm like, and they're like, go to a happy place.
Out.
Yeah.
Okay. So you've been through it.
What they said that they didn't want to find, worst case scenario, is what they found.
And it was that hernia.
So they opened me up. The hernia, which has caused so much pain, cut off circulation to my small intestines. So I had 15 centimeters of dead intestines inside me, not knowing how long. That's poison, not knowing how long those toxins and poison have been inside. So I was in surgery for 3.5 hours. They finally came in, and when I got taken back, it was like midnight. So my husband just had to find a chair and wait for me. It was 3:30 at this point. The doctor came out, found him, and said, had you waited 12 hours later, it would have killed her. It's a good thing. I listened to my body and we went down there. But yeah, they had to remove the dead intestines. And I have no more belly button, but that's okay. I'm here today to
you don't need it.
Tell my story.
So moving away from the physical, all the stuff, the surgeries, everything that you had been through medically, you're sober a little over 2 years. What have you been doing for your recovery?
So I didn't go to rehab. In fact, my sister called after the intervention. She was calling without me knowing rehabs, and they were declining me. She would tell them what, just a little information about me. And they said, no, I'm too much of a high risk and I need to go detox medically before they would even take me. And I said, I'm not going to rehab and I'm not going to AA. I had that in my mind. And I'm not saying anything is wrong with that or I'm above that because I am not. It is out there and it helps thousands, millions of people.
Yeah.
But for me, it was almost like a double-edged sword because I didn't really have time. I was in and out of the hospital well over 40 times in the year of 2024. Oh, by the way, after a month of being diagnosed, I still went to South Africa. So me and my doctor were on a little bit of bad terms because she did not permit
You
that.
went on the trip.
Yeah. And I came back huge. I'm surprised they even let me fly.
Yeah.
Because my ascites had kicked in and I was gone for 10 days and I couldn't get drained.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a bad idea, but we went.
So what have you been
So-
doing to stay sober? Yeah, tell me.
Okay, so sorry.
You're good.
So yeah, so just after that, I guess I didn't really have time. I was
Very busy. Yeah.
I was medically I was turned off by alcohol,
Mhm.
which was a blessing
Yeah.
for my recovery.
Yep.
Because I'm in so much pain. I was in pain every single day. I went through insomnia and I've never had a problem sleeping. That sucked. That was awful because I love to sleep. But it was just like, just boom, 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 just so much. I will say though, I went to one AA meeting because a friend of mine was speaking at it and said, "Hey, will you come support me?" I said, 100%, absolutely. And I was curious about it.
Yeah. So you have sober friends.
Yes.
That's a huge tool right there.
Yes.
Community.
Yes.
I mean, with community, we all need community,
Sure.
especially when we're getting sober because we think we're so unique. And
right.
you know, when we are partying and drinking and we don't know other people in recovery,
Yeah.
there's nothing to really help us stay accountable.
Right.
So a community, having friends that are in sobriety that you interact with and you talk to regularly, that's huge. That's a huge tool.
Oh yeah. And also going along the same line is that my husband has been sober day one with me.
He did it with you.
Yeah.
Your husband sounds pretty awesome.
Yeah, he had never left me alone to, I mean, I'll just like cry if I talk about it, but he never left me alone to face it. And I was a lot to deal with. It was hell. I put him through hell.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's sober with me. Makes a huge difference when your partner's on the same page.
Yeah.
And it was fairly easy for him. And he's a health nut, so he feels better. We're both back to the gym. We're both working out.
Yeah.
You know. But anyways, sorry, I go like all over the place.
No, that's another tool right there. Like the fact you're getting sober support in the house.
Oh my gosh, like, and didn't even question it. I mean, his vice now is smoking cigars occasionally.
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah. But
he loves you.
So I went to I'm very, very blessed, very fortunate to have him and my mom has told him several times, like, Caylene wouldn't have been able to do this without you. And I even told him in the beginning, I said, I have the problem, you don't. Like, you can still have your drinks, but really would I still be sober and where I am today, like without that? I'm like, I don't know.
Yeah.
So I went to this AA meeting and it was great. It was down in Long Beach. So I went, which is about an hour south of me.
There's great recovery there.
Yeah. Yeah. It was a pretty big room. And my friend spoke. She did well. And I just went with no intentions. I just went to go listen. Sure enough, I was the last one to share. And it was the very first time that I said, "Hi, my name is Caylene and I'm an alcoholic." And I was like, oh my gosh, did I just say that? Like, it was wild to hear. And I'm shaking. I stood up and I'm shaking and I'm huge. I'm like, I'm not pregnant. I look like it, but this is all because of,
It's the only place you can go and say that and people will be like, yeah.
Yeah.
Like, we get it.
No.
And three people will be like, I went through the same thing.
It was great. And then I have a good family friend. She actually used to train me. She's a personal trainer. She used to train my dad and I when I was in high school. And then she moved to Arizona and she's been through it all. She's drugs, alcohol, years and years, prison. She's done it. And so my dad had called her because I hadn't been in touch with her for years. So after my diagnosis, my dad had called her. She called me. And so we get picked up basically where we left off. And she's doing great, by the way. She's sober 10 years, just got married last year.
Oh, I was just going to say, so she was sober. That's why your dad called her.
Yes.
You guys reconnected. She's sober 10 years now.
Yes.
8 probably around when you were going through what you were going through.
Right.
And that is awesome.
Yes. So she's she's my dear friend more than anything.
Yep. But she's sober support.
Yes.
That's amazing.
What is he doing?
No, he's just checking it out.
Not saying hi. So like your sponsor, I guess. So I mean, she's my dear friend more than that, but like in a way, do you know what I mean?
She's holding you accountable.
Yes.
You guys are holding one another accountable, it sounds like, at this point.
Yes.
That's amazing.
So she calls me, and I'll never forget even like where I was standing in my kitchen. And she's like, Caylene, you're not going to do this by yourself. Because all she was been around for years and years and years is addicts and relapsing and all that. And she's like, you're not going to, and not to take anything away from me. And she wasn't saying it condescending by any means. She was just like, you're going to need help. Like, you're not going to do. And I said, watch me. There's my stubborn as hell. Yeah. I'm like, watch me and I will do it.
Do you believe in God?
100%.
You don't practice the Mormon religion?
No, but I pray. I pray every day, and I know it's the good Lord that I'm still here today, and I'm here for a reason.
Yeah.
Because there was a few times, say I continued, I wouldn't be sitting here. That if I didn't go into the hospital that day to get that hernia removed, I wouldn't be sitting here. And then a third time, this has nothing to do with alcohol, but when I was a baby, I had 3/4 of my left kidney taken out.
Wow.
I had got an infection, huge infection. And I actually had 3 surgeries, the first one starting at 9 months. So my mom's like, she called me after my hernia surgery. She's like, that's like the second time I've almost lost you. So it's
like a cat.
Yeah.
9 lives.
Yeah.
Well, I want to thank you for coming on, for sharing your story, getting vulnerable with us. You put a lot out there, and
I feel like I did. I feel like I have so many layers, but
no, I respect you getting vulnerable with us, and putting that information out there just to help someone else. Of course, traveling 100%. From California. Thank you.
Sure.
All those layovers, stopping in Vegas, Austin, here. You're a miracle, and congratulations on 2 years, and keep going. Thank you for coming on.
Thank you.
Yeah.